I recently added a new color to my watercolor palette, a beautiful, dark, warm, and transparent color, Indanthrone Blue. This color makes gorgeous greens, deep purples and maroons, and very dark neutral colors. If you'd like to see this color in action, keep on watching. In this video, I'm going to talk about a new color that I just added to my watercolor palette. That color here, I'm going to swatch it across the top, is a beautiful dark blue color, which is called Indanthrone Blue. This is a Daniel Smith color. It is PB60. Now, in order to add this beautiful color to my palette, which you see here, here's my Stephen Quiller porcelain palette. Absolutely love this palette. I have made a bunch of videos about it. And if you'd like to watch those, I will leave links in the description below. You might want to check that out. This is a wonderful palette. I love the fact that it is, well, a couple things I like. I like it that it's porcelain. I love to mix my paints on porcelain. I think it's the best surface to mix your paints on. And number two, I love that it's in a round format because this helps me with my color matching and just keeping in mind the complements to colors as they are posed on the color wheel. And it's really one of the only porcelain palettes I have found that lays out the colors like that, and I love it. Okay, so back to my color, Indanthrone Blue. I just added it to my palette, but as you can see, my palette's full. So what color did I remove in order to make room for Indanthrone Blue? Well, I have to admit, I got rid of a color I've had on my palette for years, and that was Indigo. Daniel Smith Indigo used to sit in this spot right here. And I decided to replace it with Indanthrone Blue. Why did I do that? Well, Indigo is a color made up of Indanthrone Blue, PB60, and PBK Black. So basically, I had a color Indigo, which was already included the Indanthrone Blue with some black. I don't tend to use black in my paintings much. I decided I could get a real dark black-like color using Indanthrone and mixing it with other colors. I can also make really dark blacks like that with my phthalo blue mixed with a red. So I decided I would put this blue on the palette instead, just because it's such a gorgeous dark blue. Alrighty, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to mix Indanthrone Blue with 6 other colors. And as I do so, I'm just going to talk about the qualities of this color, and you'll be able to see the mixes and the colors I'm able to get as I go through these mixes. The first color I'm going to mix with Indanthrone Blue is Nickel Azo Yellow. Nickel Azo Yellow here, which is PY150. And this is a really gorgeous, vibrant yellow color. I don't tend to use this color by itself very often because it is so vibrant and almost shockingly yellow. But it makes wonderful mixes, as we're going to see here. So I'm going to start with my blue here as a base, nice and dark, and then I'm going to start to bring in the yellow. Bring in just a little bit at a time so you can see I've got a fairly dark green here. And I'm just going to kind of swatch out these colors along the bottom of each of the mixed colors so you can see the various colors that I can get just with these two colors. So I started with a very dark green, bluish green, moving over now into more of a middle green, like almost a dark sap green, bringing in even more yellow here. Almost gives me what I call a green gold, which is one of my favorite colors on my palette, which I'm going to mix here in a second, and even more yellow into the mix here. So there you go. I've got 4 colors I can pull out of the mix of Nickel Azo Yellow and Indanthrone Blue. So you can see those there, and they're beautiful colors. Along the top here, I'm going to be mixing colors that will create a lot of beautiful greens. And then down below, I'm going to mix some other colors. So my next color I want to mix with is green gold. And this is also a Daniel Smith color. It is a convenience color. I don't really use that many pre-mixed greens. And this is an exception to that rule. I just think this is a beautiful color. You can see it does really match kind of closely this mix I was able to get with the Nickel Azo. I just think green gold is such a beautiful color. And all by itself, and I can add like other blues to it and things like that and get some really nice dark greens. And so I like to do that. So again, starting with my base dark blue, I'm going to go ahead and mix a little bit of this green gold in here. I think I'll go even darker here, just so you can see what it can do. So Indanthrone Blue is PB60, as I mentioned. It is a very dark, warm blue. It is non-granulating, transparent. It is an organic color. It is got excellent lightfastness and is considered a transparent color. It is probably closest in terms of its color values, closest to my French ultramarine, but it is quite a bit darker in value when you put it on the paper. So there you see, now mixing with green gold, I have this really dark, rich green color. I just love that. I'm going to now mix more of the green gold into that same mixture there. Maybe not quite that light here right off the bat. You can just, I want you to be able to see a nice gradual change in color. So there we have Indanthrone Blue mixed with green gold. Next, I'm going to take my Sap Green and mix Indanthrone with that. Again, one of the benefits I see of this Indanthrone Blue is really the ability to mix a wide range of beautiful greens. And so I'm going to go ahead and mix this with Sap Green, see what I get. Now, because both the Sap Green and the Indanthrone Blue are quite dark valued colors, we can see I can get a very dark, richly pigmented, almost blackish green color there. That is really a dark color. A little bit lighter. Now I demonstrate this color mix just to show you how you could take a green like a sap green, very traditional color, and really darken it really nicely for shadows. If you were doing landscape, had a lot of green, needed to get real dark colors, you could do that by mixing that Indanthrone Blue in with the Sap Green. Now I'm moving around the color wheel into my reds. I've decided my favorite mix here is to mix this Indanthrone Blue with Pyrrol Red. This is actually my M. Graham PR 254. And this is a very warm red. And starting with my dark blue there, I'm going to add in my red. Oh, I've gone way too light. Let's go back to the blue. Mixing back and forth between reds, especially Pyrrol Red and blues, can sometimes be a challenge. It's easy to go to put in too much red to begin with. Red is a very powerful color. So as you can see, I did that, but now I've gone back and brought in the blue. You can see what a deep blue. This is almost an indigo. And again, I told you earlier, I replaced indigo on my palette with this PB60 Indanthrone Blue. And now you can see why, because I can really create that color quite easily just by mixing it with some other colors. So now I'm going to put a bit more red back into the mix here. And again, I did too much. Now, right in the middle of the mix of these two colors, I can get just a really beautiful purple color. It's quite dark. It's muted. If I were to mix this with a real cool red, like a quinacridone rose, I would get a really vibrant, shocking purple. I tend to like more muted colors, so that's why I chose the Pyrrol Red mix over something cooler in the red category, because I like this kind of purple a lot. I think it's beautiful for shadows. Really does some beautiful mixes here. A little bit more red now. Push that a bit more this way. You can see what we can get. And do I have room to go even a little bit more there? I've kind of run out of room, but you can see what I can do there with a variety of colors with that Pyrrol Red. Those are just gorgeous tones that I can get with Pyrrol Red and Indanthrone Blue. Okay, the next color I've decided to mix with is transparent Pyrrol Orange. This is PO71, and this is a wonderful color, secondary color, and it's the only orange I have on my palette. And it's a beautiful color. Let's take a look and see what it does with my blue. Now, because blue and orange are directly across from each other on the palette, we would expect to get a neutral, which we can see we're getting a neutral brown color here. I'm mixing on the palette. Again, I'm going to start with a real dark color here, mostly blue. You can see what a dark, rich, almost black color you can achieve there with a neutralized color with the orange and blue. When I add more orange, it starts to pull it more towards the brown, still neutralized. And when I add even more orange, and even more orange yet, you can see the results. Now, I think that's just a beautiful set of neutralized colors. It's interesting how you can go all the way from a very dark, almost black color, and it really looks quite cool there. I don't know why. I guess there's so much Indanthrone Blue, it looks quite cool, but then it moves quickly into warm colors, into the browns, and finally at a dark orange. It's really a beautiful set of colors. Again, that's with transparent Pyrrol Orange, PO71. All right, one more mix I wanted to do here is with actually a neutral color, Neutral Tint. This is Daniel Smith Neutral Tint, which is a mixture of 3 pigments, PBK6, PV19, and PB15. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know I've got a video in which I talk about using this color to neutralize other colors. It is definitely a convenience color. You could mix this color from other colors, and for that reason you wouldn't necessarily have to purchase it, but I know a lot of other artists, well-respected watercolor artists, who do have it on their palette as a convenience color, allowing them to easily neutralize other colors on their palette. You have to use it with caution because it could muddy the colors. It is Daniel Smith, who manufactures it, says it's been manufactured in such a way to be right in the middle of the color spectrum, and so it is truly a neutral tint, and therefore can really mix well with almost any color. Again, I have a video on that. I'll link to that in the description below. But let's go ahead and mix it with this blue. So I bring in my blue and I put in a little of this neutral tint. You can see again how dark now I can get. Now, this would really be almost a perfect match for Indigo, which is again the color that I took off my palette to make room for Indanthrone Blue. So you can see how easily now, even though I don't have Indigo anymore, I can create it so easily by adding the neutral tint into my Indanthrone Blue. And so again, that's one reason why I wanted to show you this mix. It's a beautiful, beautiful dark color. I do like Indigo, but again, had to make room for this new blue, so that had to go. So now I can make it this way. Just going to put a bit more water into that mix so you can see that you can also go nice and light. So you can see here my finished chart where I have mixed Indanthrone Blue with 6 other colors on my palette. I have created a variety of rich colors, from deep, rich greens to maroons and browns, and even some very dark indigo colors. If you would like an insider look at all the colors on my palette, you can download a free PDF chart that includes all the colors in this wheel. I include the color name, manufacturer, and pigment number for each color on my palette. It is available on my website at studio.krisdebruine.com. I will leave the exact link in the description below. I hope you have found value in this color mixing lesson. If so, consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell. This will keep you notified whenever I put out a new video. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great day and keep on growing in watercolor.